Hey guys, I'm Beth.
And I'm Jamarl, and today we're talking about how our trying to conceive journey has affected our faith. Now, we've been sharing our journey of trying to conceive this week as part of Infertility Awareness Week, and you can catch a lot more of the information that we've been sharing up in the info card, which we'll put up here somewhere.
What we've found is that it's easy to have faith at the start of your trying to conceive journey, but it's how you respond with time and the testing that really determines the strength of your faith. And that is definitely what we've gone through, is a testing of our faith.
Yeah. And it is a really biblical principle to have your faith tested by time in general. Like, there are so many stories, too many to reference, but particularly when it comes to conceiving, there are a handful of stories in the Bible where God has rewarded the faith of couples and they've conceived. Particularly the story of Sarai and Abraham in Genesis chapter 16 to 21. They conceived after a long time. The same with Rachel and Jacob in Genesis chapter 30, and even Hannah conceiving Samuel in 1 Samuel 1. God gives us biblical foundation to give us that faith to see it through, but obviously walking it through and living it is so different to actually just knowing it.
Definitely. But it is encouraging to see the people in the Bible that have gone through the same thing that we're going through now in terms of infertility and the waiting and the pain and stuff. That's something that's really key to see, is that they don't hold back their pain from God, and they don't just try and stuff their pain down and be like, it's okay because God's got it. They actually express their emotions because God has made you to be a person who has feelings and the power to express. That expression is what brings you closer, because you're showing a side of yourself that would be easy to hide. I think it's when you're at your ugliest with people and at your ugliest with God that breakthrough can really happen, because you're being truly, authentically real and not just trying to suffocate yourself with knowledge. It's easy to just gloss over stuff with knowledge, like God is good, God is this, God is that. And he is those things completely and wholly, but he has also made you to be expressive in the way that you feel.
So for us, not having children was never an option. We knew we were going to have children even before we started trying to conceive. You'd had a dream about our baby.
A very, very vivid dream. Woke up like mid-crying because it was so real in the moment. I was just crying out of joy in the dream, and then I woke up and I was still crying.
And that's the thing for Beth. All through her life, she's had God speak to her through her dreams, so she knew that was something from God. She recognized it based on the history she's had with God in talking to her through her dreams. So coming into trying to conceive, we did not at all think that it would take us this long and that we wouldn't,
oh no, we did not.
So there definitely was a process of learning how to not compartmentalize our pain and actually learning to be authentic before God without it shaking our faith of what he said he's going to do and who he is. What the process has done is actually strengthened our faith, because through the authenticity we've had with God, we have this even more real.
It causes you to dig deep.
Yeah, God has said what he's said, and even though our experience doesn't quite match up yet, we still want to stand on that word, because feelings like, why us, Lord? This hurts so much, Lord. Why is this happening to us? Well, it's not fair that so many other couples are conceiving and we're not. Those sort of feelings are really real and can become a real weight in your chest.
It can turn to bitterness really easily. There's a very fine line between expressing all the pain out of love and out of God, I need your comfort, and it turning into bitterness. God is nowhere near me, he's rejecting me, he doesn't love me anymore, all that stuff. It's not going that direction, but really pushing firmly and deeply into the promises that God has over your life.
It's knowing his nature, that he is by nature love. He wants to be the comfort of your life if you allow him to, and if you go to him with that, you will never be let down. And it's really helped as well that we've had a few select people who've been able to prophesy into our lives. They've heard God on our behalf, and we've had prophecies that we're going to have children. People who we don't actually know that well, who are just really prophetic, have spoken over our lives that we're going to have children, and they don't know our scenario. And having select people who are supporting us and having people prophesy and speak into our lives.
So encouraging.
Really encouraging. So those things have really strengthened our faith, I'd say.
And it makes us ask ourselves the question, what kind of Christians do we want to be? Do we want to lower our faith levels to kind of manage the situation, manage our feelings, and just be like, well, maybe God doesn't want us to have children, so we won't really believe for it, we'll just kind of go with that? Or do we want to live our lives with the belief and the expectation that this is what God has for us, no matter the outcome? come, and no matter how we feel in the moment.
Yeah, and there have been times where we have fallen into a mentality of, I can't be bothered to hope because it hurts too much. God has always invited us so gently back into a mentality of, there is more for you.
Yeah.
Like, I am love and I am your support, I am your comfort. Things I've said I will see through to completion. There are so many promises over our lives that we want to stand on in faith. So God actually uses some dire situations to invite you into a higher level of faith. In summary, we're standing on Hebrews 11:11 and we're believing that God is who he says he is, and we want to take him for his word.
We're just being completely honest with you about where we're at the moment. If you enjoyed our video, or if it helped you in any way, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to see more of our trying to conceive journey and any of the other content that we make on this channel.
Drop a comment down below with any faith tips you have for standing on a promise, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.